Welcome to Montreal Rocks. Very excited. We have Tony Almonte in studio with us today. And you might know him as Tony Montreal. Nice to have you finally on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
We were just talking right before this about how Tony got his name. So maybe we can start with that.
Yeah, the story came about maybe about 12 years ago or so, when the boys had called me one late night, I believe after a night of partying, and had made the connection that my last name Almonte is a kind of like an anagram for Montreal. If you add an R, like I'm basically an R away from Montreal, and the boys had figured that out, and they've been calling me Tony Montreal ever since. And something that kind of stuck, and we all kind of went along with it.
It's a great name. I mean, you do represent Montreal in so many ways. All the work that you do with various charities, and we're going to talk about right after. And of course, by the boys, you mean Bran Van 3000.
Yes, I'm talking about James. I'm talking about Nick. I'm talking about Liquid, Gary. These are like the old guard.
And I'm going to talk about the first time we met. I don't know if you remember. So I'm walking in the parking lot of the Chateau Saint Ambroise. I'm sporting a Bran Van 3000 T-shirt that I got at a Grand Prix gig that you guys did on Crescent Street. And I hear from like third floor window, it's like, "Hey, that's my band." And then you said like Tony Montreal. I finally found you on Facebook. We connected and we met a couple times since then. But I always remember that first time. It was kind of funny. It was one of those shirts that I just love the shirt. Actually, it feels so comfortable. It's the one with the whale on it. And
that was actually designed by Darren Papasidero, who left us about 6 or 7 years ago.
And the last time we talked, it was kind of sad because obviously a great return for Bran Van to the Jazz Festival, but yet you were not able to perform with them. Can you maybe walk us through that and maybe why? And which leads us to the image I have behind me, the logo, and the logo you're wearing on your shirt.
Yeah. I had announced to my bandmates about 2 years ago that I was going through some things, and we had the opportunity to spend some time at the cottage together, and when James came back from Los Angeles, we had all spent 2-3 days together at the cottage, and was able to put everybody kind of up to date as to what was going on. And it was clear that my health condition wasn't getting better, and thus even was something that was not even performing is not even an option for me. I'm just not playing. So supporting, being there in a supportive role, was also a gamble, because I wasn't even sure I was going to make it. Now there's a show this weekend. There's actually closing 2 back-to-back performances at Club Soda this weekend. This coming for the weekend. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna make it. So
yeah, Friday and Saturday at the Studio TD.
Yes, and told the I just got a bunch of tickets, and just got a bunch of friends ready. I'm just getting ready to just send a bunch of friends over there to support Pop Montreal and the band. I'm hoping that I'll be able to make it there.
Now, I don't truly understand. And the reason why we're talking about this is because of Lyme disease. And Lyme disease is something that is so devastating, but yet almost invisible. And the problem, I believe, is that for many, many years, it was invisible. Doctors just would not even look for that. And it was kind of unknown. And it really affected the lives of so many people. I mean, you just posted on your Facebook page the tragic news of the daughter of the CEO that just took her own life because of the effects of Lyme disease on her.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's a very, very, very tragic news. She was recently diagnosed, and she was having the hardest time for the past couple of years, getting medical attention, and the distress of dealing with this brutal viral attack. This is very, very Lyme disease is no joke. I'm still very emotional about this young lady. This is the fifth suicide on Quebec soil the last 2 years.
Wow.
And, these are really shaking the Lymer community at the core, and we're really hoping that her family. I'm really sending my deepest, most profound sentiment of
Condolences, right?
Condolences. Thank you. And I'm affected neurologically. Sometimes I will stutter.
Yeah.
It's all a part of it.
I appreciate the bravery of coming on camera and being recorded. I think the first time I really understood about Lyme disease is watching some documentary, and they're talking with Catherine Hanna of Bikini Kill. And her husband, one of the Beastie Boys, was filming her, and she looked drunk. She looked like she was incapacitated, and she said, no, film me. And that was at her worst. And it was just the effects of the disease. She did not drink alcohol, but she was slurring. She was basically had no balance. It debilitated her to the point where she couldn't do anything at that time. I don't know how long it lasted. And it really opened my eyes to how something so small as the bite from a tick that is somewhat preventable with precaution could have such devastating effects on people's lives. We had Avril Lavigne also, I believe.
Justin Bieber, Shania Twain.
Yeah.
There's some really heavy Canadian talent are affected by Lyme disease.
So tell us, first of all, let's talk about prevention. What are some of the things that people can do, and when is it maybe the season where you should be extra careful for this in the Quebec region?
Well, we're right into it right now.
Yeah, I'm going to Chalet this weekend, so I'm going to make sure
first off, what's important is when you go out in the woods, you want to be for one, sticking to the trails, avoiding areas where deers frequent, because in the tall grass there could be ticks out there, and I would strongly advise everyone to wear their pants inside their socks. So once you put your and wear like a good denim pants as well, because ticks won't go through it. Nice tight woven fabric. So what you would do is I would encourage anyone to wear a good boot, wear your socks over your jeans or your pants. wear light colored socks. So if ever you do have a tick on it, you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to spot it. In terms of clothing for your upper body, to wear layers, tuck your shirt inside your jeans, tuck your t-shirt underneath just to make sure that it doesn't get at your waistline, because they'll crawl up there. You want to make sure to wear a hoodie, perhaps a light colored beige or a gray or a hoodie that would help you as well see if you do have ticks on you, because ticks have many different stages, and the tick is another thing. When we stick to prevention, you want to be using something to protect your neck, maybe like a hoodie. I would also suggest that you spray some insect repellent with a little bit of DEET in it. 10% of DEET is enough. Then again, if you do have a pet, there's a product that is called Atlantic, and it hails out of Eastern Canada, out of the Halifax area. So you could order this product online, atlantic.ca, and they have a wonderful product for pets, so as to and they're
Are pets like a gateway that they would go to the pet and transfer to you?
okay. If you're flying solo, of course, ticks will get a grip of you. It's if you have a cat or a dog that kind of like roams around the nature, your camping site, your cottage, that's also a vector. So you want to be inspecting your pets, and you want to make sure that you inspect them thoroughly with a comb. And should you find a tick, there is a tool that you can get at any pharmacies for say, and there's a tick removal kit, which kind of looks like a hammer that has the two hooks, where you kind of take it out like a nail, like you would a nail in the 2x4. Mm-hmm. Forgive me. Now, tuck your pants in, tuck your shirt in, throw on a hoodie, put some insecticide on your clothing, on your socks especially. You don't want them to crawl up there. They'll be like kind of like deterred. So you have like deterrent strategies, Once you're at home, Randall, I strongly suggest that once you're at the cottage, you get to the door, you to remove your clothes at the door. And this is kind of like resonating some tactics of like the last 2 years, right? You remove your clothes at the door, you inspect it. What you could do is immediately take the clothes that you were outside with, throw it in the dryer for 10 minutes at maximum. It will kill any bug that sticks to you. So no chances of ticks going inside your cottage and hitting you up.
Worst case, you get some complaints from the neighbors because you're naked outside.
Listen, I'm a rock and roller. There's never really any complaints about that. It's highly encouraged.
You really opened my eyes to something, because all joking aside, this is a very serious issue. But I was always aware of the pants, the socks.
Yes.
I'm
happy about that. I'm happy about that one.
Never knew anything above the belt. I was not aware of that, because I thought, unless the grass is really high, but that opens my eyes to something. Now, let's talk a little bit about the organization.
Let's agree I'm sorry, Randall, but let's agree that these insects, the ticks, are crawlers, right? They don't jump, they don't leap, they don't bounce, all they do is they crawl, and they're really good at it. So for them to get to from your ankle to the back of your ear is very, 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 it's a very simple operation. That's all.
I have to admit, I sometimes come back after a walk and I look at my legs and just to see if anything is there, just a little visual inspection. Never thought of anything else. So right away, I've just learned something, and I hope the viewers have learned something as well.
I also hope your audience picks up on this.
Now, when it comes to the organization, right now you work with Verlin.
I am founder and spokesperson for violin.org, which is a grassroots initiative. And we are running campaigns all through the year. We just got out of our summer campaign, and now we're heading into another phase, which is actually taking a little more time than I expected, since I've been spending much time resting and recouping. So I'm driving this the best I can. The website is up. Of course, everybody is welcome to go to violin.org, register. We also have a hoodie. We have a really groovy hoodie that has, let me just stand up, show you all the weight I've lost in the last, since I've been taking these meds. I feel like a superhero. Yeah, we got these hoodies that are available on our website, and you can get one of these, and I'll help you protect yourself. We ship them to your place, and that's my part in raising awareness that the fact that Lyme disease exists all over Quebec. People from all over, like from all sorts of walks of life, are really going through some really rough times with this Lyme. It's and hence why prevention and awareness is very, very important. I feel that what I'm doing is important, and this new mission I have embraced. And if we can prevent people from suffering, or again avoid another situation like Amélie Champagne, which we just went through this last week, which created ripples all over North America. Is it now a discussion we must have? In the 90s, I remember having the discussion about AIDS in the 80s and 90s. I remember having certain discussions about other things. And now it's time for a discussion about Lyme.
Yeah, to make it top of mind so that there is prevention, caution, I would say, because nobody is fully immune, but exercising caution is always a good thing, especially when there's a danger. I want to thank you for the work that you're doing with Lyme disease. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. I want to talk a little bit about maybe some of the good memories that you have. You and I both share something. We've DJ'd for years and years and years. I saw your gear too when you were DJing in Verdun in the park, helping another organization because you're such a generous, kind soul.
Yeah, we were raising money for Haiti that time. We raised $2,000 for Haiti. It was fantastic.
I know it was a nice little event, and I always appreciate DJs. I think DJs, obviously now compared to decades ago, have way more respect. Even if I saw a cutout of the other day that the guy had like his hands were playing nothing. It was just like at a big event, and it was like just faking it. But
that's okay. That's what these people like. Certain people make these decisions. They got to live with that.
I've seen you mix live. You're doing it. Great mixes. We both come probably from an era of doing beat to beat manually, not relying on just pressing a button to sync the beats, which I do appreciate now as I get older because I don't have time to practice as much. So when I'm in a pinch, I'll use that. But I do like, I still have my 1200s. Two Technique 1200s. I don't use them as much as I should, but they're in my living room. I listen to a lot of vinyl. I mean, my record collection out of COVID kind of grew exponentially. I got bored, and Au 33 Tours put up a website, and I just kind of went nuts. And then, of course, every time I review a band or I go to review a show, I buy vinyl at the show. So I collect signed vinyl. So that's my thing. That's my little guilty pleasure, and I love it.
I'll put together some wax for you.
That'd be awesome. you've been DJing for many years. You DJ'd some at the Old Port doing some Bran Van stuff. You DJ'd at Shazam Fest with somebody from Cirque du Soleil. Let's talk about
We
that.
did
That was
Alain Vinet. Yeah, that was a really
that was the day I
fantastic.
missed.
Yeah, that was a really fantastic experience. You know, performing Shazam was a privilege. When Ziv and his team had put in the request through my team, if they were wanting me to perform an 8-hour set, which is rather difficult. And I reached out to my buddy Alain Vinet from the Cirque du Soleil, and Alain has a very unique pedigree, and there is no one else really who had, wanted to share this moment with, being out and doing this in nature. We were having our own stage designed for us. It was like, it's really surreal, being out there and playing with Alain is like playing with like a musical Jedi. It's like you're playing with like the founder of stereo. You're playing with, like a deeply, a very profound musical archivist. Like probably one of the most prolific musical archivists of the city. Like aside from guys like Robert Minet but Alain is like definitely up there, and the experience of performing with Alain was one of like a mutual love and respect, and is also one that I felt I felt very one with the idea that Alain was there and supporting a brotherly role, and that's another feeling than just being booked with someone.
It's a collab. It's a collaboration, not an upstate.
Absolutely, and we're both like on the same level, and we're here like exchanging and jabbing tracks, along with the set. I think was that part when we got to the back-to-back, him and I, which was really
to me reminds me a little bit about jazz. It's about that experimenting and kind of jamming, and in a way you can do that. I've DJ'd with another DJ, and we've done that back to back. Mostly I would do 10-15 songs, then we swap 10-15 songs, and we had different styles, but we played a lot of parties together, my buddy Sylvain Giroux and I. And
shout out to Sylvain.
He's back into vinyl. I actually have some Depeche Mode vinyl that I have waiting for him next time he visits, because that's where we started with. We went to a party. Don't tell my parents, but I snuck out. But I got caught, so they know. I snuck out, went to a party. I wasn't supposed to, and I heard for the first time Depeche Mode, "People Are People," and it blew my mind because I was an FM rock kind of guy. From my uncle, taught me all that stuff, and then I heard this music and I go, whoa, like this is completely different from anything I've ever heard. I remember from that day, I'm going to be a DJ, and I took this incredible stupid loan from one of those loan places where they charge you like 30% interest or something.
Yeah,
I bought 2 old Technique SL something 202s or something, I don't remember what it was, with a small mixer and 2 big speakers, and I started my DJ career, and I started doing parties. I would just practice, and I find that we've come to a point now where DJs are musicians. I mean, they create their own music, they create their own beats, or they buy beats and they add to the music. But there's a different type of DJ, which is what I was, because I don't really do it as much anymore. But I curate an experience. I think that's something that you do.
What you do today. I mean, like you've curated this event, as you do like for many years, and I think that's why it's so groovy when I see you and your wife at the events, and And I'm like, all right, this is what's happening. You know, he's mining that mediascape that you're creating, and it's beautiful. I'm so happy to be part of this. You know.
Well, it's funny because I take mixing to another level. I no longer maybe touch the vinyl, but I touch people's lives in a way that I try to mix people together. So I was talking to a Montreal artist that just dropped by, gave me her new album, which is amazing. I listened to it last night as I was making supper. Geneviève Racette. She played with she has a great song with Dallas Green, by the way, which is an interesting collab. I love that song. And I was thinking of another artist that I interviewed in Vancouver. And I said, you know what? I think you two would get along, because here's one artist in Vancouver that would like to break in the East. And here's an artist in the East I'd probably like to break in the West. So put them together, let them collaborate. That to me is mixing as well. That's
jazz.
Yeah. So
and that's also rock and roll, you know, it's Zappa, it's everything, you know, it's music. You know,
so I've heard you mix. You're creating an experience. You're very good at the technical aspect. I was kind of jealous. Like I said, I'm kind of out of the game now. Back in the day, it was a little bit different. We'd actually play the whole song. That's not maybe so much a trend anymore, but I'm always long form. That's why I like to have these long discussions.
Same here. I like the long form as well. I was never really into the mashup. I was never in a, you know, nobody's in a hurry to, you know, to be, you know, stressed behind the decks, you know, like we all handle whatever we can at our capacity in the moment. And, you know, music and songs is why I'm in this. So I will tend to, you know, to let things play out and hopefully be able to, you know, tell a story as I deploy the mix, you know, but I'm never in a hurry to cut things up.
As we conclude with just letting the recovery process tell its story, what are you doing to fight this disease? Just to kind of put a bow around this.
I'm doing a variety of things. First off, I've taken all appointments, all hard deadlines and timelines is not a thing in my life anymore. I might be there, I might make it, but nothing is really more sure than me breathing tomorrow. And I'm working all with that in mind and keeping as stress on my shoulders as possible. Lots of rest, lots of hydration, antibiotics. Right now I'm taking 3 antibiotics simultaneously, which is kind of like not quite the way we're doing things, but it's important to fight such a viral affectation.
That's an attack.
And,
an attack. So you have to attack with an attack.
It's here's what it is, Randall. I'm not attacking it. The meds are doing that. I'm harmonizing with my means. I'm basically just like a drummer would his drum set. You know, the foot is handling the you know, the low end stuff. You know, we got the hands chopping the wood up, like up in the, you know, the mid high range, and everything is happening. Like it's all kind of like this harmony of means that are working simultaneously, and that kind of creates the strategy. But my strategy is not to fight with it, it's to dance with it, it's to fuck with it, you know. I mean, not like with it like fight with it, I mean like with it, like be with it, you know, and be like harmonized. I was a soldier once, you know, but now I'm an artist. An artist, you know, we harmonize, you know, and I think that's the best way that I found for me is not to fight this, is to harmonize with it, is to be with it. And when it's hard with me, and you know, I go to my mantra that it's only like that for the time being, and this is what it is right now.
I think it's wise advice, because if you're fighting something and you can't win, that would get discouraging to the point of maybe wanting to end it, like we've seen so tragically. But when you dance with it and you try to harmonize, it helps you cope for that day. And I like the fact that you also put limits on yourself. A good friend of mine, Melanie Sodka, she always talks about capacity. Instead of saying no to something, you just say, I'm sorry, I don't have the capacity to do that tonight or the next week.
Or now, and just deal with now. How to be like I encourage anybody who's going through what I'm going through to deal with things in the now. And because sometimes it's difficult in the now, but the other times it's all right, you know. So if we focus on now, it's a 50-50 thing. If you focus on just the hard, it's just always hard, you know. So if it's gonna put me in bed, then we're gonna be in bed together, baby.
I'm so happy to talk to you again, Tony. It's always great to chat. Maybe people will see you at Brand Van, maybe they won't. The important thing is we stand behind you. Thank you for clarifying a few things. You've given us some things to think about, some ways to prevent Lyme disease, and we look forward to your recovery, to seeing you back on stage one day, and maybe us hanging out at the lab.
I sure hope so, and sooner than later.
All right, Tony.
Thank
Catch
you,
you on the
Randall.
flip side.
Thank you, Montreal Rocks.